Life works in mysterious ways. The most hardworking person isn't the richest person, the loudest isn't often the bravest person, nor the biggest or the fastest animal, the king. The king. Gods. And in a poetic way, life wants you dead and death wants you alive. Very strange world we live in, right? And then there's. Yeah, so after putting it off for so long, I decided to watch it and oh my god, was I disappointed. I have expected it because of the clips I saw online, but I wanted to make my own judgment. With so much hype, with so much praise Invincible has, you would have thought that it was written by Da Vinci. Last year, I made a video regarding good dialogue, and I explained in simple terms that good dialogue either moves the plot forward or reveals things about a character. Otherwise, what you get is info dumps and long monologues and expositions, and those were generally bad. And I was new to criticism, and since then I've grown and I've learned, because that mostly applies to adventures and action stories. For drama and comedy, it's a bit different. It's still there, but different. And I guess with Invincible being this action sci-fi fantasy superhero show, I was surprised that they focused more on the drama aspects, the emotional side of things, the human side. And don't get me wrong, nothing wrong there. It's just that they do it in a very one-dimensional way. And there's also how that drama is executed. It's just so lazy and surface level. And then there's Mark. The thing about being a teenager is that you're naive and you're allowed to be. But Mark is that to the max and kind of a dick. I don't want to speak about the heaps of problems the show has. I'm pretty sure other people have done that. What I want to speak about is the story, or rather the lack of nuance, themes and concepts. As time moves forward and things change, things improve and shows are no longer just one-dimensional. Now they have themes like the weight of expectations, themes of valuing life and not fearing death. Shows that are more than what they are at face value. Surface level. Stories that aren't just about black and white and have nuance in them. Philosophy like Rick and Morty, stories that have just layers and meaning. And for Invincible, I expected something similar, or at least an effort to it. Instead, Invincible is just what it is at surface level. God damn it. No deeper meaning or themes. They tried having them, like Nolan's beliefs clashing with what he has on Earth, or the social commentary on superheroes only caring about big problems, or not caring about the small man. All those are great and deep topics that could have been dealt with properly, but the writing was just so garbage. But what I think is the most annoying aspect is how unaware these writers are. I don't know if anyone has said this, but
the show claims that it deconstructs the superhero genre and does things differently, right? Instead of showing you that life is precious and that the hero will save everyone, the show just kills people every now and then. But here's the problem. It doesn't necessarily deconstruct anything else other than that. Mark still holds the beliefs that every other superhero has. He believes in helping the little man, saving people, all the constructions of a classic superhero. So the show technically failed at doing what it wanted to do. Seriously. Dumb writers. And speaking of Mark, this whole idea of coming of age stuff was done poorly. Standard, but poorly. And reiterating on Mark's naivety, hot take, but I think Omni-Man was right. If they welcome the Voltron Empire, there will be less deaths and better technology. But if Mark chooses to fight them, as the ending is suggesting, then he's in trouble seeing as how he couldn't even stop his father. What about hundreds of Voltromites? Huh? Just dumb. And why didn't Nolan tell Cecil this? I doubt he would have argued, knowing the stakes and knowing that they are literally Voltromite baddies. Come on. But back on Mark and why I think the show was just dumb. On multiple occasions, Mark grapples with what he wants versus what he needs to do, which is essentially helping people. His best friend lost his boyfriend because of this. A true deconstruction of the superhero genre is someone like Homelander, who wouldn't give a fuck unless he can benefit from it. In fact, countless heroes have faced this dilemma, and the correct and traditional approach is to choose to help people off rip. But Mark fails this over and over and over again throughout the season. And the crazy part is that even at the end, he doesn't seem to learn his lesson, just staying the same as he is. And what type of writing is that? And the show writers have this nasty habit of dragging things and bringing them back later in the exact same way, with no changes, no nothing. And again, at face value, at surface level, And solving this is very simple. Let's talk about Ben 10 for a second. Yes, the 10-year-old. Long story short, Ben loved sumo wrestlers. Why? I don't know. But he once wanted this golden card for an entire episode, and finally, when he almost had it, in a big climatic fight with Animal, I think, he was faced with the choice what he wants versus what he needs to do. And he chose to help people, showing us that he's a hero at heart, and that character. Every character in media is two-dimensional. They're just words or art. The idea is to try and trick us into believing they're human, they're 3D. But Invincible doesn't have anything like that at all. But Invincible isn't like the other shows. It's gritty, it's bloody, I hear you say. Right? Right? I don't know, man. That's just my thoughts. I'm a critic, not a cynic. Anymore, that is.
I think I'm finally a proper critic because I can separate subjectivity and objectivity. Although the show has tons of problems, like tons, I partially enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie. But this man Mark is so insufferable that I don't know if he'll change, and that's why I'm hesitant to watch season 2. And to Kat, I don't know if you'll see this, but I know you just love the show, my guy, but that's just the truth. And if it makes you feel any better, I will say this. Something I wanted to share for a very long time is that Invincible Season 1 uses 24 frames per second. That's its animation. Naruto uses 24 frames per second. That's its animation. JJK uses 24 frames per second, and that's its animation. Even Arcane uses 24 frames per second. The human eyes and brain struggles to register the difference between frames higher than that, so it's damn near pointless having more frames. One guy dropped a video with this shallow understanding or didn't explain properly, and everyone took it at face value and just ran with it. Sure, he was right, but not completely. So, Invincible doesn't have an animation problem, just details, depth, and what everyone else loves, choreography problems. And flights. Most of these problems come from the flights. Oh, and inexperienced, lazy animators who skip certain frames. I don't know. Also, I decided to look into the writers because, maybe it's my ego, but I can definitely write better than this. I saw a bunch of people and the original comic creator, props I guess, but then I saw this name and that cemented it for me. This man, this laugh, it should be a well-known documented fact, scientific fact, that if this man is involved in any project, it turns out looking like trash. You could have had a brilliant multi-billionaire dollar script, and if he even breathes, let alone touches the script, then it comes out looking like shit. And this goes for involvement behind or in front of the camera. Why they keep hiring him beats me. Anyway, that's all, folks.
Wait, am I allowed to say that?
Legally?
Legally?